Thank you for taking time to visit with us today and to give us some information about you and Sachse High School. We want to be sure it is okay with you for us to record this interview and to use it on the Sachse Historical Society's website and in other forms of media. Is that okay with you?
Yes, of course.
Would you please tell us your name and your position at Sachse High School?
My name is Steve Hammerle, and I'm the principal at Sachse High School.
Would you like to tell us about your wife, children, and other family members?
Yes, my wife is Marlene Hammerle. She's currently the principal at Rowlett High School, and she also is retiring. Both of our last days will be in 2 days on Thursday. We have one son who lives in Houston, and we have two grandsons, 19 and 18.
Where were you born and where did you grow up?
I was born at what we refer to as Big Baylor Hospital, downtown Dallas. And I grew up in Garland, Texas, and I went to Garland High School and graduated in 1973. So my mother and dad lived in the same house for 61 years in the same neighborhood, and I had the pleasure of growing up there, the youngest of 6 kids, and we all went to the same elementary, the same junior high, and the same high school. So I grew up around 4 or 5 miles from here.
What schools did you attend before college, and what high school did you graduate from?
Well, I went to Freeman Elementary, and Bussey Junior High, and Garland High School.
What colleges did you attend and where did you graduate from college?
I went to Texas A&M University in College Station, and I graduated in 1977.
Please tell us what made you want to become an educator.
I wanted to be able to be in a job and a career and a profession where every day I woke up and I look forward to going to work. I look forward to working with young adults and hopefully make a difference in their lives, not just with the field of education as far as what I was teaching them, but also as far as life lessons so that I could work in tandem with the school and with the families, the parents, and helping to work with young adults.
Would you tell us a little about your career and what events led up to your being Sachse High School's principal? We understand that you have been with Sachse High School since it opened.
Yes, I started teaching at Garland High School, and I taught there for 13 years. And then I got the opportunity to be assistant principal at Bussey Middle School. And the middle schools used to be junior highs. And it was kind of interesting because I went back to Bussey Middle School as assistant principal, and I was a kid there in the 60s. So I was an assistant principal for 2 years, and then from there I went to South Garland High School as assistant principal for 5 years. And then I got a great opportunity to go to be a principal, and I went back to Bussey as the building principal. And I was there for 3 years, and we were very successful at Bussey. Our scores were great, our kids did an excellent job, the staff and community, parents worked very hard. And then I had a great opportunity. There were 4 high school openings, the new Sachse High School, and then Garland High was open, North Garland was open, and Lakeview was open. And so many people applied, and I was fortunate to get into the final interviews with the superintendent, and he interviewed many dozens of people, and he asked me to come open Sachse High School, and it's a great privilege and a great joy for me to be able to have the opportunity to open this brand new high school. So I've been here for 11 years.
Would you give us a little information about Sachse High School? When did it open? How did it grow from one grade to a complement of high school grades? How many students and staff are here? Maybe give us some brief history about the school.
Well, we opened on August 19th of 2002, and we opened with 810 kids. We had freshmen and sophomores only. We didn't even use the upstairs. The only thing we used about the upstairs was the library, and that was easy access. We made our decisions in opening our school built on 2,400. All the decisions were based on having 2,400 kids, but we only had 810. And so it was very small. We didn't have varsity competition the first 2 years. We didn't have AP classes. We didn't have the work program classes. And it was really smaller than Hudson Middle School across the street by about 400 or 500 kids. In fact, I took pictures of the student parking lot. I went out the first day of school, and then I went out the first day of every month, and I stood in the baseball bleachers, and I stood in the same bleachers, the same spot, every first day of the month and took a picture of the parking lot. And it's kind of a neat history to see how many of our sophomores turned 16 and got their driver's license, because we only had like 4 or 5 cars that first day of school. And then by the end of the year, we probably had a couple hundred. And of course now we have many, many hundreds of schools, of students, cars parked. The next year we went from 810 kids to 1,400. And the next year we went to 2,100. And next year 2,400. And right now we're on the books for next year, for in about 2 months, 2,751 kids. And so we've grown leaps and bounds. We have 20 portable classrooms, and as I know you all know, the construction is going on. We're going to have some classrooms added and the cafeteria enlarged, etc. So we've grown incrementally, but we grew fast.
How have you seen the Sachse High School change over the years you've been associated with it?
The biggest change for Sachse High School that I've been associated, the changes have been in the rapid growth of students. And that's been a very positive thing, a very positive growth. And of course, with the rapid growth of students, that meant a rapid growth of teachers. More teachers, more librarians, more principals, more support people. And so we now have a staff of well over 200, about 225. And we had a very small charter staff to begin with.
How do you see the school changing over the next several years?
Well, we're going to continue to grow. Our cafeteria is being enlarged this summer, and it won't be ready until about Christmas. And it's being built for 3,000 kids. Not at one time, but in order to feed 3,000 kids in a very efficient way. And then we're also adding on to the classroom spots. We're getting 30 more classrooms, which will give us the capacity for 2,800 kids. And we foresee, of course they foresee since I'm retiring, but on the projection is that, and you're going to be a freshman, and the rest of you all will be here directly. Maybe before you all graduate, we may see another bond program, maybe, where they build the capacity for Sachse High School to 3,000 students. So we see this place continuing to grow, and with that comes more opportunities for to see excellence in athletics and fine arts and academics. As you know, we made the state playoffs in football for the first time last year, and we do hope to see that happen all the time. We've been in the playoffs in many other sports many, many times. So we see this school growing and even becoming better and better as it gets more students, and the quality of our students that we get are just great, and they're hardworking. That will help propel Sachse High School to even better greatness.
Who chose the Mustang as the school mascot, and do you know how that choice came about?
There was a very small committee that chose the mascot of Mustang. I was obviously a part of that committee. It was in the spring, late fall, early spring of '02, late fall of '01. I was named principal in May of '01, and I started in July of '01. And I was temporarily housed at Rowlett High School because this was still a hard hat area. We moved in, 3 of us moved into the building April 15th of '02. And by then, there were meetings going on to get many things established. And there was a very, very, very small committee. And we picked Mustangs as the mascot out of 5 names that were submitted. And we're very pleased with the Mustang mascot. It's a great mascot.
As part of the Garland Independent School District, we realize that students have a choice concerning which school they attend. What would be some good reasons for them to select Sachse High School?
Traditions, a history of excellence, primarily a history of excellence with our state scores, which is the number one thing that students need to be looking at in their families to get across the stage. We have an extremely high graduation rate. All of our seniors walked the stage this last June 2nd, except for 3, and 3 is too many. But when you compare that to the graduation completion rate of other high schools, it's a very strong completion rate. So students would want to be here because it's a safe environment, it's a educationally focused environment, and we think that we provide opportunities for kids to grow and have an enjoyable high school career.
How do you feel the students have benefited while they were at Sachse High School?
Oh, in many, many ways. Again, the number one way is with the tradition of excellence in academics. Our students graduate from Sachse High School and they are prepared for the next walk in life, be it a junior college or a four-year university or the workforce or the military. Whatever it is they choose to do, they are so adequately prepared. So primarily in academics, also with fine arts and athletics.
What special events come to mind during your time at Sachse High School? Which one sticks in your mind that you would like to tell us about?
Well, being a recognized school, and that may not mean a whole lot to young adults, but to our teaching staff and our community, our families, our parents, and obviously me as the building principal and all of our administrators, to be a recognized campus it's a nice, very respectable title that shows a lot of hard work by our students and by our staff. So the academic focus and being rewarded with that recognition of being a recognized campus is very important. Of course, our fine arts programs are extremely strong, and then even in athletics, again, like I said, we made the football state playoffs for the first time and went 2 rounds deep. Our volleyball has been to the state playoffs many years. Our soccer team went to the Elite Eight for the second time. Our basketball team on the girls' side went to the Elite Eight for the first time. So there's so many accomplishments when I think about the musicals and I think about all the athletic events and the UIL competitions, the band and choir competitions. As a building principal, I can't pick just one. There's been so many, but every month and every 6 weeks there's greatness to share about Sachse High School.
How can our community help Sachse High School?
By being involved, by attending the events. It's really, really nice to see people in the Sachse and surrounding area, the Sachse community and surrounding areas, when they come to a musical or to a football game or to a volleyball game or to an academic competition, and they don't have kids here. They may be retired, their kids may be grown and gone, they may be empty nesters, but for them to come back to their local community and enjoy the fine arts programs and the athletic programs, that is really a great way for me as a building principal to see the community be involved. Our parents are going to be here, hopefully, because their kids are here, and they want to see them perform and produce greatness. But it's really neat also to see families and community members who don't really have a tie to Sachse High School by a kid being here, and them still be here.
This interview is being conducted just a few days before you leave Sachse High School and begin your retirement. Are there any special words of wisdom or any messages you would like to leave for the incoming principal, Mr. Merrill? Any words for the students and faculty?
Well, for the incoming principal, Mr. Merrill, he's going to do a great job. We're so pleased with the superintendent's choice for Mr. Merrill to follow me as Sachse principal. He, just to relax and do a good job, do the good job he's done at the other campuses. He's been a very successful principal. We know he's going to continue the tradition of excellence that our school has created, not by me, but by everybody who works here. So Ray, Mr. Merrill will do a great job. For the students, I'm going to continue to say to enjoy your high school career. I've already had my high school career, and you only get one shot at high school, and you need to make the best of it. It's not our responsibility to make sure school career, although we will help facilitate that. But it is the student's responsibility to make sure that they're successful. And number one is to make sure you don't fall behind in your academic work and to get involved. There's so many, there's over 100 of clubs and organizations that kids can get involved in order to be an active member of the student body here. And then always to make good choices. Our life is dictated by the decisions we make. And my hope and wish for the student body, for the incoming freshmen, is to always make good choices.
It is most interesting that your wife is also a principal at Rowlett High School, another GISD school. Do you have any stories of how this has added a little to an already busy schedule in your family's life? Any special events that come to mind where there may have been a little competition between the schools?
Well, there's a lot of competition between the schools. My wife and I are both extremely competitive by nature, and I want Sachse to whoop Rowlett in everything that we do, and she wants Rowlett to whoop Sachse. But when we don't play each other, when we're not head-to-head in competition, I want Rowlett to do well, as she wants Sachse to do well. But when we play football, and we compete on every level, not just athletics, but academics and fine arts, when our bands go to competition, you know, it's always Sachse and Rowlett bands in the top 4 and 5 schools that compete. It's always Sachse and Rowlett and the top of our TAC scores and our EOC scores. It's always Sachse and Rowlett at the top of everything that we do. And so we're very competitive, but we help each other tremendously. We share ideas, We run ideas back and forth. We play devil's advocate with each other. We're good sounding boards. I give her suggestions that she implements at Rowlett, and she gives me suggestions that we implement at Sachse. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work. Some of the very first football games, the Sachse newspaper came out, and the Dallas Morning News came out and interviewed us and took some pictures of us at the goalpost, and it was, principal versus principal, and our students at Sachse started the tradition of hammer versus hammer, and then the Rowlett student body added to that and started doing their own hammer versus hammer t-shirts, and that's a lot of fun. I come from a large family, as my wife comes from a large family, so we get together often, and it's a good bull, as we would say. It's a lot of fun, but we want to win and she wants to win, and sometimes we can't always win, but we want them to be very successful, and as she all wants us to be very successful. We don't make bets. When the first time we played each other, because the first 2 years we didn't compete really, because we weren't in competition. We weren't big enough. But everyone was saying, are y'all going to have a bet on the football game? And we decided that we can't bet on the football game, because if we bet on the football game, we'd have to bet on the basketball game and the volleyball game and the track meet and the band competition and the TAC scores and the EOC scores. And it's just so many different things we'd have to bet on. I said, morning, we can't even start that. And so we never have a place to bet. And there have been some interesting conversations when we get home in the evening about our competitions against each other. The fact that we're both principals, our lives are very, very busy with work. We do carpool quite a bit. And the carpool is nice. Obviously it saves gas and etc. But it's just nice because we can talk. And we don't always talk school business, but we can talk about our families. And sometimes that's the only quiet time we have, is when we are carpooling together.
We understand that you were on the board of directors of Sachse Historical Society, the organization that will be posting this interview, and the Sachse Chamber. Please give us a little information on other organizations and events you have been part of.
Well, it was a great pleasure for me to be on the Sachse Board of Directors for the Chamber and for the Sachse Historical Society. I was asked to do that and thoroughly enjoyed my years on those two boards. I also, when I was a principal, a teacher at Garland High School, I was on the Breakfast Exchange Club. And the Exchange Club is an organization that internationally works for the prevention of child abuse. And so being an educator, I thought that was a great area for me to work in. And so I worked in that for quite a bit. And then through our church, my wife and I are active there. And other than that, that's about it as far as the community. Those take about quite a bit of time from us.
Would you tell us your plans now that you are about to retire?
Well, we're going to do some projects at our home, and we look forward to doing that. And we're going to take some trips and do some stuff with that. And then we want to spend some time with our family. We're both very blessed that my mother is still with us, and she's 92, and Marlene's mother is still with us, and she's 86. So we want to spend some time with our families and with our grandkids and our kids and then our extended family. So we look forward to that.
We have found that many of the folks we've interviewed have been special places, done unusual or unexpected things, or met really interesting people. Which places, things, and people come to mind that you have really encountered?
Well, years and years ago, one of my best friends and I took a 6-week trip down the Mississippi River. We took our boat and we trailered it up north of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and we put the boat in the river, and we went 1,750 miles down the river, and we camped along the way, and that was a pretty neat trip to do when we were in our late 20s. Not many people have crossed the country in a boat, kind of like Lewis and Clark, although they went east and west, and we went north and south. And then one year I was able to meet President Ford, and that was as a government teacher when I was at Garland High. That was a really neat experience for me. And then my wife and I got to travel to Asia several years ago. We went to Hong Kong and Tokyo and Singapore and Malaysia, and that was a 2-week trip that was really what we would call a trip of a lifetime right now, to be able to go to the different parts of the world and to visit their culture. We look forward to doing more of that, hopefully.
Is there anything else you would like to tell us?
I have thoroughly not just enjoyed but loved my years at Sachse High School and in the Sachse community, and I will miss it tremendously. We are very excited about our retirement, but my wife and I will both miss our schools, our respective schools, very much. We'll miss the daily interaction with our students and our staff and the kids and the parents in the community. We will miss that so much. It's been a part of our life for many, many, many decades, and so we will miss it, but we are looking forward to the next chapter of our life.
Before we leave, we want to thank you for being such an important part of our community, and especially for our academic institutions. Some of your students have worked at our center. They have all been exemplary employees. We believe that it is in part because of the excellent environment you help foster at Sachse High School. We admire the interest and the care that you have shown for some of the special needs students and those students who have very difficult situations at home. We know the first-hand experience how this has very positively influenced several of them. And finally, we thank you for being such a supporter in the community through your help with the Sachse Fall Fest. You have always encouraged many of your staff and students to participate, and you have been there to motivate them. We appreciate your taking time to visit with us today.
Well, thank you very much. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And thanks. It's nice meeting you all.